Donald Trump, back in the Oval Office, don't ask how, decided America needed a new project. Forget Infrastructure Week or healthcare. This time it was all about Greenland, that big icy island owned by, wait for it, Denmark? No way, Trump allegedly shouted. They make pastries, not countries. He wanted Greenland for its strategic ice. Look, the reasons were murky, but Trump wanted it. And when Trump wants a smoothie, you don't ask about the nutritional content, you just blend whatever's left in the fridge. Trump announced his plan on, of course, Truth Social. We're taking Greenland. It's full of things, good things America needs. The internet, as it does, exploded. Memes were born. #Greenland Takeover trended higher than the time Ted Cruz blamed his daughters for fleeing Texas during a freeze. The world watched, equal parts bewildered and entertained. This was peak Trump, back in all his chaotic glory. Military advisors, we can only assume, were sweating. How do you invade a giant ice cube? Do you even want to? These were questions for minds less addled by spray tan fumes. Trump, meanwhile, was busy on the phone. He wasn't calling generals, though. He was trying to get the CEO of Domino's on the line. We're gonna need a lot of pizzas, he reportedly said. Extra pepperoni, the troops love pepperoni. Denmark, a country known more for hygge and Legos than military might, was suddenly thrust into the global spotlight. Their response? A mix of, wait, seriously? And is this guy for real? Danish Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen, known for her calm demeanor, was caught on camera stifling a laugh during a press conference. It's a unique situation, she admitted, before assuring her citizens that Denmark was taking appropriate measures. Those appropriate measures involved a hastily assembled defense strategy. Pictures emerged of Danish soldiers, armed with snow shovels, and what appeared to be very large hairdryers, strategically placed along Greenland's icy shores. The internet naturally had a field day. Memes of Vikings battling inflatable Trump blimps flooded Twitter. Someone even started a GoFundMe page to send the Danish army a lifetime supply of pastries. Because if you're going to defend your country from a Trumpian takeover, you might as well do it with a side of Danishes. Meanwhile, at the United Nations, diplomats were scrambling. Emergency meetings were called. Alliances were tested. Through it all, one question echoed. How did it come to this? The answer, as with most things Trump-related, was as baffling as it was terrifying. Nobody really knew. Except maybe Vladimir Putin, who was reportedly seen sipping vodka and laughing hysterically at a bar in Sochi. Back in the White House, things were escalating. Trump, fueled by Diet Coke and his own delusions of grandeur, demanded daily briefings on Operation Frozen Freedom. Yes, he really named it that. Generals, looking increasingly weary, tried to explain the logistics of invading a giant, mostly uninhabited island covered in ice. Trump, however, wasn't interested in logistics. He wanted results. And maps. Lots of maps. Make Greenland great again, he'd bellow, stabbing a finger at a map of the Arctic Circle, seemingly unaware that Greenland was already, part of Denmark. Then came the incident. During a particularly tense briefing, as a general explained, again, the challenges of transporting tanks across glaciers, a strange sound echoed through the Situation Room. A muffled gasp. Then a faint but unmistakable odor. Trump, face turning a shade of orange not even the finest bronzer could achieve, slowly sank in his chair. He'd had what could only be described as a wardrobe malfunction of epic proportions. The room fell silent. Generals averted their eyes, stifling laughter. Someone, presumably an intern, fainted. Operation Frozen Freedom, it seemed, had hit a rather unsavory snag. The news, of course, leaked faster than a Trump secret to the National Enquirer. The #Diaperdon trended globally. Even Putin wasn't laughing anymore. Well, maybe just a little. In the end, Operation Frozen Freedom went about as well as you'd expect. Which is to say, it didn't. The Danish army, armed with their pastries and snow shovels, proved surprisingly resilient. The international community, united in their disbelief and amusement, rallied behind Denmark. Sanctions were threatened. Memes were shared. The world held its breath, waiting to see what Trump would do next. The answer, as always, was unpredictable. One day, Trump was tweeting about building a giant wall around Greenland, made of ice, naturally. The next, he'd moved on to some other equally ludicrous scheme, leaving the world to clean up the diplomatic and, let's be honest, olfactory mess. Greenland remained, thankfully, a part of Denmark. The world breathed a collective sigh of relief, still chuckling at the absurdity of it all. And somewhere, in a heavily guarded vault deep beneath the Pentagon, lies a pair of soiled trousers, a silent testament to the day Donald Trump tried to conquer Greenland, and failed. Spectacularly.